So it's called the Analog Pocket. It seems to be basically replacing, if you can call it replacing, the Game Boy Advance, and a lot of actually other portable consoles of the past.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like a lot-in-one kind of device.
An all-in-one.
An all-in-one. That's a better way to put it.
That's almost what people would call it these days. So it's an all-in-one device that's playing all of these kind of classic handheld things. It looks like a modern Game Boy, I've got to say. It looks like if you'd like...
It does, doesn't it? It looks really nice. Like, it's nice and slick, and like the style of it just looks really stylish.
It's, in my imagination, it's like, well, if Nintendo, like, they didn't innovate and they just continued along, like, okay, let's continue the Game Boy line and continue just making that the same, this is where they would have ended up with, like, something along these lines in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it definitely looks like a more futuristic console, like definitely comparing it to the Game Boy.
It does. All right, let's jump through some of the details here before we get right into it. So
Yes.
It is going to have adapters to play other games. So in the first place, it's going to play Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color games.
Yeah, so these ones can go directly into the console.
Actually, we didn't even mention that. They plug directly into the console. And it just plays them natively on the console itself. It doesn't come with any games preloaded, so there's nothing actually on the console itself, but you can plug any of your games that you own straight into it and play them. And then if you have, like, I think it was like Neo Geo and a couple of these other kind of offshoot consoles that nobody likes to talk about. No, they're great. But if you have any of those portable ones, you can actually buy separately sold adapters that will help them actually work with the console.
I think this is a great idea. Like, just being able to have one handheld that can play all these different types of games from, like, different consoles, different makers.
Like one beautiful
Brilliant.
handheld. Like, it's
absolutely.
It's a great idea to be able to have that as well. And they, like, in my mind, it's like someone beat Nintendo to making the Game Boy Classic, let's call it that. But they didn't just do that. They beat Nintendo to making the Game Boy Classic, but then they also said, oh, we made the Game Boy Advance Classic and the Game Boy Color Classic, and we have adapters for everything else.
Exactly. They're like, yeah, Nintendo, we're not doing it one at a time. They're all together.
And then here's the thing. It doesn't end there. Like, I'm still being blown away about some of the features we're going to go through here. So the next one up is that it docks like a Switch. Isn't
that insane?
It's like a classic Switch. That's what you might as well call it now, because it docks onto your TV. Like, I believe the dock is actually sold separately as well.
It is sold separately. Now, they haven't actually announced a price for this dock yet. I think they have given a price for the actual
system, though.
System, yeah, but not the dock.
So the system price, Nat, how much is that?
It was $199. Now, that was USD, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's the same, like, for clarity, it's the same price as a Switch Lite.
It is.
So it's actually a pricey little handheld.
Yeah, so over here for us, it'll probably be about, what, $330-ish?
Something along those lines. But yeah, the fact that you're paying the same price as a Switch Lite, it dampens the experience a little bit. Like, when you look at it and you go, okay, the library of Switch Lite games compared to this, but it's just a completely different thing. It's for classic. People have classic games and want to go back and play their classic games. This is just a great way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you've always been able to play your classic games on TVs in the past. You know, like Nintendo, they had their adapter for the SNES that you could put your Game Boy games into.
Yeah, I had one of them.
with the GameCube, they had the adapter that went on the bottom. But
the
again, you could the GameCube bum, as I like to call it.
I was going to say, now, if you don't call it the GameCube bum, the show ends here.
That is my name for it, which allowed you to play your Game Boy Advance games on the TV. So it's like there's always been a way to be able to play your games on the TV. But, like, this is so much more convenient. It's so much easier because it's all there in the one system. It's like you're not getting out your SNES, you're not getting out your GameCube. You know, you don't have them all lined up and switching between them. It's like they're all on the one device.
I think that's what we're paying for here mainly, is the convenience of having this, that. You know, just all these different things. And, like, you know, it's the same as the Switch Lite. It doesn't come with any games preloaded, but it does actually, you can play it with controllers if you're playing on the TV. So if you have, like, an 8-bit DOE controller, you can connect them wirelessly. If you have wired controllers, apparently they can plug into it as well, so you can just plug and play.
Yeah, I think this is an absolutely brilliant idea. I mean, like, if you already have these controllers, how much easier is that for you? It's like you don't have to go out and buy separate controllers to hook up to this device. It's like if you've got them lying around, you can just use those.
Yeah, and it has a lot of customability options as well. Like, you can change the brightness on the actual system itself. I have one thing this thing's missing, though.
Yeah.
One thing in general. Color. You know, when I think about this.
Oh, yes. I thought you meant the screen. I'm like,
no,
no. Sure it's color.
I'm pretty sure it's color. I'm fairly certain on that. But the system itself, color would have, I think, like, just had, that's what really appeals to me about like the Switch Lite. I love these little pops of color they gave with that system,
Exactly.
and even the Switch itself and its Joy-Con, and just having this in just black and white. I kind of wish they had a coloured version.
Yeah, I do hope they do have colour versions in the future. Like, maybe these will just be the starting ones, see how they go, and if it's popular enough, maybe we will see colours.
Yeah.
But I agree, black and white can get a little bit old.
Yeah. Apparently it also has a music synthesizer in there as well as a sequencer. Now, I'm no audio technician, so I don't know how much that means about like what you can design as far as music production goes, but it seems like it has some tools in there to assist with that type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like they've really put a lot of thought into this and like added a whole heap of other features as well. It's like it doesn't just play games, you know, you can do other things on it as well.
And more features are apparently coming in the future. We don't know what yet, but apparently there's an SD card slot and there's going to be more stuff that's actually coming in the future.
Yeah, this is definitely interesting. I mean, we'll probably find out the price of the dock at the same time as well.
Yeah.
So like maybe, because it comes out next year, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it the beginning of next year?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I need to look that up. I'll have it flash on screen, otherwise the podcast listeners will find out.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping they will announce everything else at the same time, you know, like the price of the dock, all the other features, because like I would love to get one. Yeah. I think it's a fantastic device.
No. This is the first like classic device that I've like, because normally these other little offshoot devices come out. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Nah, you know, but this is the first one I've really looked at and just gone, oh, the price is really bad, but like not bad, like for what it is. I don't want to use the word bad. It's pricey, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
No, exactly.
But the price is really up there, but it's still the first one that I've gone, this is something that's really convenient that I would actually like.
It is, absolutely. But there's one more thing that is like a little bit of a damper on it. It's like, if you're interested in this, but you don't have any like Game Boy games, you know, like maybe, you know, you were too young when these came out and you hadn't collected them yet, you still have to go out and buy these cartridges.
That's the thing. That's the biggest thing for me, is that like, it becomes really expensive all of a sudden if you want to play some of these classic games that are expensive and you don't own them. Whereas like if you bought that, and like I was actually going to ask you the question, do you think this makes it kind of not needed to have a Game Boy Classic from Nintendo?
That is a good question. I mean, it's tricky for people that don't have the Game Boy games already, because obviously Nintendo will preload it with, you know, just like 20, 30 games.
That was going to be my point.
Yeah. So it will come preloaded. So if people don't have Game Boy games, then maybe the Game Boy Classic would be their way to go. But I feel like for people who have a big library of these old games, this is the way to go for them, absolutely.
Exactly. And when you consider a Game Boy Classic would be, you know, just under half the price of this anyway.
Exactly.
It's really all about the games and what you want to actually own on there. So I think there still would be a place for it, and just for the nostalgia factor as well.
Yes, definitely.
But I just want one of these. I think it's a fantastic little device that I was so happy to wake up to this morning.
Yeah, I feel like this is nostalgia as well. I mean, it's like, could you just imagine getting this, holding it in your hand and playing Game Boy games? It would really take you back to your childhood. It really would.
It would do. Now, Nat, on the top of big news today...